We now return to Let's Play the Banner Saga. So I told Ekil to fuck off, and apparently the game decided to keep it. So it's saved and you've missed that dialogue. Basically the whole thing is just that we find out Onef killed his sister, he became obsessed with tracking after Onef, and then he basically fell in love with the bastard or some stupid thing like that. Anyway, I told him to fuck off and he's no longer with us, so too bad. How's the wound? Oddleaf winces. That's doing a lot better. When I saw it happen, I thought, well, I'm glad you're okay. You missed me? She smiles. Without Avon, that's all you could have done. Instead, you'll have to put up with my crap a little longer. Still aches like you wouldn't believe, though, or maybe you would. Heard you took a stabbing yourself. Guess things could have gone worse. How are you doing? I'm doing alright. Despite the whole being stabbed. I'm glad to have a letter around. And you, Rook. Well, isn't that fantastic? What do you think about the caravan? You mean, should we start kicking people out? Well, we got to start with Echo. Don't send anyone away, she says. Just make sure nothing happens to Alette. Whatever. I am done with this game, if you can't tell. A flurry of snowfall seems to come out of nowhere and quickly thickens. You shout out a complete halt, something about a day of blizzard. Isn't that fantastic? It quickly becomes apparent that not everyone is where you last saw them. Ask volunteers to scout the immediate area. Plenty of volunteers step forward and you send them out. Most return empty-handed. Move on. No, they're out there. If you won't look, I will. Good. Get rid of them. The villagers are completely oblivious to the destruction that is coming. All we've seen is some dark figures far off, they tell you. Aside from a few families, they're reluctant to pick up and join you. And yet they come with me anyway. Well, whatever. Caravan consists of more clansmen than you've ever expected. Accusations of stolen chickens, missing blah blah. Try to keep people useful and too busy for petty squabbles. Firewood collection, scouting, blah blah blah. Everyone's too tired to complain. Ahead you find what appears to be a good number of peasants surrounded by brigands. One of the armed men look over his shoulder. Guns be damned, this is all I need. Listen, don't interfere and one of the supply wagons is yours. Back away. What's going on here? Nothing concerning you, and before you start telling me otherwise, these are my clansmen. Thought they could run off with every scrap of food in the village. Now all I want is you to move on. Take the supplies and leave. You nod and a few of your men grab a supply wagon. The imposing godstone of Bjorulf approaches. His severe visage makes it feel like he's watching you even now. The caravan spreads out, happy to be free of the confining forest and in open fields. Hogan pulls you aside to show you some red berries growing on an ash tree, and that looks like it was chopped down long ago. These shouldn't be growing here, he says excitedly. I haven't seen these in a long time. He and Mogan busily go about collecting the berries. In fact, in honor of Bjorlf, some of the caravan crack kegs of mead and wine before anyone can stop them. To the only god that matters, they shout. Everyone drinks, and you're glad for the merriment that has swept over the caravan. Join Hogan in collecting the berries. What exactly are these? When I would travel to Beauregard with my father, sometimes he'd buy us a few of these. Couldn't be a luckier find, see for yourself. You try one and feel energy returning to your tired limbs. Not taking a few more would be a wasted opportunity, you figure. As the hour becomes late, the caravan is eventually ready to go back on the road. The day by Bjorlf's stone is one of the few memories that hasn't been tarnished by the specter of bad fortune, you think to yourself. Hooray, another item. A group of men with broad shoulders and thick cloaks approach the caravan. They might be outlaws you hear nearby, and the idea quickly ripples through the clansmen. One of the strangers approaches, saying, "We've run out of any help would be welcome." His hard eyes reveal nothing of his motivations. You consider how you want to approach this. Ask them how they came to be here. The men get nervous and reveal sturdy weapons. Your warriors step forward until the leader holds out a hand, saying loudly, "The last group to ask us questions tried to kill us. Tried. Let's keep this simple. Will you help us or not?" Either way, they're going to get your supplies. They will fight you for them, they will steal them from you, or you just give it to them anyway. So we may as well just give it away.
Reinvik is more of a smattering of farmhouses than a proper town, though judging by stray dredge stalking through empty fields, it is barely even that anymore.
Reinvik comes and goes as a long series of farmhouses abandoned and crawling with dredge. The farmers have probably already fled to Beauregard. You try to hurry past, but are eventually spotted. Dredge start ambling in your direction. "What is that?" points out Oddleaf up near one of the longhouses. In the distance, a large person, clothes seemingly covered in blood, is cursing loudly and stumbling about. He staggers into a longhouse, laughing. The dredge heading your direction turn back, roaring, and begin to pound on the longhouse door. They seem to be holding a grudge against this particular person. You doubt the door will hold long. Leave quickly while your luck holds. Whoever that was just bought us an escape. He survived this long, he knows what he's doing. Let's not waste it. Scout returns with a nearly frozen child. I almost stepped on her in the snow. Looks like she must have been running from something. Even just carrying her along would kill her in a state like this, says a woman. "We would be in danger here," points out another. "Fine, we'll stop the caravan for a rest and tend to the girl." As the caravan's tent rises, a fire is built beside the girl, who is covered in furs and ointments. Progress is slow, but soon you see the girl is alive enough to swallow water and some heated broth. When you wake the next day, a healer tells you she should be fine in time. And what did we get out of that? Up ahead, a scout shouts. Some giant hall, but it's empty. You approach the structure but recognize none of the markings. The walls seem unsteady at best. Finally, sleeping beneath a roof. It's abandoned for a reason. Leave it. While most follow you to a further campsite, a few families stubbornly but cautiously enter the hall and bed down. The next day, they rejoin the caravan more refreshed than everyone else. You soon hear complaints of your paranoia. Fuck you, game! If you let them sleep in it, it collapses on them. That's a lose-lose situation right there.
As we pass steep cliffs, the sprawl of Boersgard comes into view. A city of contrasting rich and poor, opportunity and gamble. Our best hope for salvation, or our graves.
Chapter 7, The Slayer and the Slain. Finally you arrive at Boersgard, where the walls stretch for miles in both directions and are littered with the bodies of Dredge, Varl, and men. "Excuse the mess," shouts a voice from above the gates. Looking up you spy a striking Varl, his face wreathed with matted black hair. Movement at the gate catches your eye. "Let us in," you shout. "Show me something worth keeping," he shouts, gesturing toward the dredge. "You've got to be kidding me," mutters Oddleif as she knocks an arrow. "When they open that gate, there's going to be one more corpse." "22? And there's one behind us. What the fuck is that about?" Shit. Should have used that. The Menders finally noticed what was going on, huh? Then we're either saved or completely screwed. I'm Roku, come a long way from Skoger. Are you in charge here? In charge of the governor, I suppose. Listen, if you have something to tell him, say it now, otherwise you're on your own. I don't care where you go, but stirring up trouble is probably the only reason you'll see me again. It won't be to talk. Mender, come along. We're going to see the governor. Bolverk leaves with Eyvind, who goes willingly, signaling that he's fine. Fane. This is just like Frostfeller all over again. This is nothing like Frostfeller. The one in Bearskin is probably leading the Ravens. Ravens? Is that good or bad? Depends on who they're working for. Hopefully it really is the governor and not someone trying to strong-arm their way into his seat. I guess we wait for Eyvind to tell us if he comes back. I'm not worried about Eyvind. I'm worried about the army of refugees we brought who don't belong here. You're probably right. Nobody ever uttered a nice thing about Borisgard. So what now? We ought to go to the docks and see what our options are in case we need to leave quickly. Did you notice the city guards when we came in? What guards? I have a feeling the Ravens are all they've got left. Something serious went down. And when Bellower gets here, he's going to walk right through this place without even breaking his stride. Let's keep that to ourselves for now. So, docks. See you next time.